Okay, time for another fucking intro. Every time I do this is generally because I fucked up somehow, did something wrong, made another fucking mistake. It is what it is. I mean, what can I do? I'm trying out here. So with this podcast, Jackson's podcast, the 6th episode, I wanted to try zooming in a bit more, and long story short, I zoomed in a fraction too much where it's just cutting off like his forehead above. I don't want to talk about it. It pisses me off. So still uploading the podcast. It was really great. Really enjoyed the podcast. The conversation. It was great. Honestly, one of the best ones I've had. No doubt about that at all. It was a really great kind of question answer, almost interview with Jackson about his time away in New Zealand. We talked extensively about that for about 2 hours, and I really fucking enjoyed it, and I hope you do too. So there's not going to be any video because I fucked the video up. It's just going to be audio only, but it's a great fucking listen. So give it a listen. Let me know what you think, and have a good day. Peace. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, exciting.
Mate, what should we talk about first?
I don't know. We could talk about you.
Me?
Yeah. So which podcast number is this? How many have you done?
This is number this is number 7.
7. Right,
But
yeah,
not
that's a lucky
edited.
number. Not edited, right?
Like I've only first things first with the mics.
Yeah.
You have to kind of sit forward and kind of lean into it a bit.
Radio.
And eventually I'm gonna get something that comes off the table, like it'll attach like here, and it'll just like be kind of. It'll just come off the table and come just like you can move it around. You know what I mean? Like you can sit back and have it like right here, but
nice.
I'm
Yeah,
getting to that
good.
point. So well, this is number 7.
Number 7, radio. And what is the podcast called? Because I don't actually know.
It's called The High Road.
The High Road.
The High Road. We're taking the high road.
Yeah, sounds good.
It's a bit tough for me.
Yeah. Nah,
It's a lot of work, but
yeah.
so you're in Sydney.
I was in Sydney, seeing my gran. Yeah,
Mhm.
because I haven't seen her for 9 months or whatever.
9 months. Wait, so how long were you in New Zealand for?
Pretty much 9 months. Yeah.
9 months, mate. It felt like years.
You reckon?
For me, it felt like years.
Yeah. Well, for most people, they reckon it was just like that. You know.
Yeah.
And for me, I felt like it was pretty quick. The first term felt like really long because I was like getting to know everything that was going on, and it was just kind of hectic. And then the second one disappeared because we had like 3 weeks of lockdown, and that was like, it's almost like that time didn't exist, you know?
Yeah.
Because we just drank for most of it. But anyway.
Wait, so what was it? You had a 3-week period.
Yeah.
You just drank.
Yeah, more or less. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't know if I told you this story, but
Just make sure you're closer to the mic. Yeah.
oh, radio. We got to get
Do you
that
wanna-
quality
do you wanna-
audio.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah.
Sometimes I have the aircon on because it's a bit hot now, but it does get
that's fine.
it gets boiling, so I have no choice but to turn it on.
Yeah.
And then because of the
It's kinda
background
loud.
noise, I have to
Yeah.
change the mic settings so that it doesn't pick up as much.
Yeah.
So then you really have to like get close to the mic.
Yeah, nice and close.
Nice and close.
ASMR.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically when lockdown started, or literally the day before.
And this is in New Zealand, so when
This is New Zealand.
when
so
was that then?
The lockdown, that's a very good question. I don't even know. I guess it would have been like end of August, maybe start of September, kind of thing. And so, yeah, the day before, the finance guy of the school comes up to us. Us being myself and the other Gappy, Archie, who was there. Shout out to Archie. But yeah, so he was like, "Oh, we've got all these beers that have gone out of date. Do you reckon you can like help us out with them or something?" And we're like, "Yeah, we're your men for the job." So he took us to the storage place, and he was like, "Oh, I think there's like 7 dozen beers or something." Turns out 7 cases of beer that had gone out of date by like 2 months.
Yeah.
So we'll take these. Thank you very much.
What were they?
They were Heineken's and Steinlager, which is like the New Zealand rip-off of Heineken, basically.
Right.
So they're kind of shitty, but
Yeah.
they're beer. So,
yeah. Alcohol's alcohol.
Yeah, and they were free, so
Exactly.
we weren't going to say no. And so,
Yeah.
we drank all of those within that 3-week period.
Just the two of you?
Yeah.
Because you were in lockdown together.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So that was a good time.
So that was New Zealand's only lockdown
well,
while you were there?
Yeah, while I was there.
while you were there.
Auckland was in for like 2 months.
Mhm.
They started like the same time, but then went for another 5 or so weeks.
So when did you leave again?
I got back last Friday, so I've been home for a week. But I left here
Mhm.
on the 29th of April. Yeah.
29th of April.
Yeah.
So how'd you find out about, this whole adventure and
Well, basically,
opportunity?
it comes down to it's not what you know, it's who you know.
That's right. Yeah.
And so my family's very good at, building a network of people, not in a bad way. Like, they just keep in touch with people. And
Yeah.
so one of those people was Mr. Trevor Barman, the former headmaster of Blue Mountains Grammar. And
Good old Barmo.
Yeah, good
old
old Barmo.
Barmo,
Yeah,
yeah.
so basically he left when we were in he left at the end of year 11 for us.
Yeah.
And so, like, my mum and my grandma both kind of kept in touch a little bit with him and his wife Jenny.
Mm-hmm.
And so, basically, it just came up in an email that they sent to each other that the school takes gappies, usually from the UK, but they couldn't get anyone from the UK. So,
Why is it usually from the UK?
I don't know.
It's just some
that's
exchange, some program that they have.
Yeah, I guess they just have connections with schools over there, maybe, and that's just how it is. The other place is Germany, funnily enough, and they had a couple of Germans there a few years ago that absolutely hated each other.
Oh.
To the point that one of them had to go home like halfway through the year.
Because they hated each other.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know what that's about, but we're fine.
Some German beef.
Yeah, pretty much. Something. Maybe one from the west, one from the east. I don't know. But yeah, so it came up in that email that they were kind of looking for gappies. That was when was that? It would have been 2020, start of 2020.
Right. So this was a long time
ago.
coming.
Yeah. So the plan was originally that I'd head over halfway through 2020, but then of course, didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I was only going to be there for 6 months.
Yeah.
But yeah, so didn't happen. I went and did some other stuff, and then like the bubble opened up in April, and so I'd kind of kept in touch a little bit, and they'd come back to Australia for Christmas, and so I caught up with them, and kind of stayed keen, and then it worked out. So
what made you want to do it in the first place? When your mum or whoever told you about the email?
Well, I had been actually like looking at other places. I'd actually looked at going to Scotland.
What were the options like there?
Yeah, probably pretty good. I didn't look too far into it,
right?
Because I did do an interview with this one school, but then I don't think they were that interested because I was like, I had no idea what I was doing when I interviewed.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
just out of school.
Yeah. So I guess I was lucky in that sense that I was very lucky that I got this opportunity from the Barmans. And so I did that one interview, and then this got offered to me, and like I suppose my heart wasn't really set on it. Like I'd tried that place in Scotland, because it looked kind of cool, and I wasn't. I mean, I'd gotten into uni and stuff, and I deferred it because I wasn't planning on going to uni that year anyway. But then, I figured it was best to do something. So, gave that a shot.
Wait, so what'd you do 2020?
In 2020, basically, once the lockdown hit, not a lot, but then once it started to open up, I went climbing heaps.
Yep. That's funny, Dylan. I talked to Dylan on the podcast. Like last week.
Yeah.
A week ago from today, like he said that it was you, him and Mitchell. Part like climbing buddies.
Yeah,
so,
pretty much.
Yeah, and then he left.
It was a funny time, to be honest. Because Dylan, I I did climb with Dylan, and then he went and did his certificate 4 in outdoor rec, which is then what I ended up doing set 3 in outdoor rec in that second semester, the second half of 2020.
And how do you get that? Is that a TAFE thing or just an online course?
TAFE course, yeah. And like, I don't know why, but for some reason that was still happening in person, which is like one of the very few things that probably was at the time.
Yeah. Wait, so did you do it at the same time as Dylan? Like you went together, or you just both happened to want to do that?
No, so we both kind of happened to. I wasn't really thinking about it too much from memory, but then he did it and had a great time. And so while he was doing it, it was Mitchell and I climbing. And then, I got onto this course, and so ended up being Mitchell and Dylan climbing a bit while I was doing that. So that was 6 months. And
Wait,
that
so
was
6 months at TAFE.
6 months at TAFE, yeah.
Is this, you just went to the Wentworth Falls one?
Yeah,
right.
Which is so convenient.
Yeah,
really.
so convenient.
Yeah.
Wait, so what was it, just like a normal school day, or you went there 5 days a week, or?
I'm trying to think how many days. I think it might have been like, usually it was 3 or 4, or maybe it was 5. Yeah, it might have been 5 even. And basically, similar to a school day, but often like everything was pretty practical. So we'd go out to places in Blackheath, Mount Victoria, and do a bit of abseiling every now and then. But it was a real shame because the course, halfway through, we'd been offered at the start abseiling and canyoning and stuff. But halfway through, TAFE received like a funding cut from the government, which I guess they
funding cut.
Yeah, they didn't really receive it; they got given it.
It sounds about right from the government.
Yeah, and so
cut the funding.
Yeah, they cut it from all of TAFE, and then TAFE had to decide where to cut it from.
Right.
And they cut it from outdoor rec, and so we couldn't do our canyoning and abseiling, which was like a real shame.
A bit bullshit.
Yeah.
Like, come on, like that's the whole fucking course.
Yeah, and
how can you complete a course which you can't even go out and do the practical for?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
you did, but imagine someone going into that course now, starting it fresh, and having to do 6 months of just sitting in a classroom and not learning how to fucking abseil.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly right, and especially because it's the Blue Mountains, and the whole outdoor tourism sector up here is based around canyoning and abseiling. And so to have those cut out of the course means that you're training guides who, I mean, if you get your Cert 4, basically you can just go and work, and you do your canyoning and abseiling in Cert 4, but you don't get that foundation in Cert 3. And obviously the more time you spend doing stuff, the better you get, right? So like it's a real problem at the moment that it's a 2-part problem really, that guides in the Blue Mountains are more and more inexperienced, because all the experienced guides through COVID ended up like kind of leaving because there was no money in it. And then you've got all these inexperienced guides who are coming in with not proper training. And so it's not really an ideal situation, but what can you do?
Yeah, what can you do?
Yeah.
Give them back their money.
Yeah, well, that is the solution. But
I don't know why they cut funding. I mean, obviously every country, especially Australia, is in a bit of fucking strife with with money right now.
For sure.
Considering all the COVID, but to cut education or...
Yeah, and you think about the fact that, I mean, that job in particular is part of the tourism sector, and that's like one of our biggest financial sectors in the country, so... I don't know what that's about, but anyway, it's not my decision. So
going back to like the start or just before your time away in New Zealand, what was your like draw to wanting to go to a different country? Like why did you want to leave and go and did what you did?
Well, I suppose it wasn't like for me, it wasn't really that I wanted to leave so much, because I had just finished my Cert 3 and I was really getting into the outdoors and climbing. And actually, before I left, I did a month of work with a company called Southbound, who do school camps. And so, like, would have been perfectly fine to stay here.
Yeah.
And it would have panned out well. I would have done my Cert 4, but I figured, with this opportunity being handed to me on a platter, pretty much, and New Zealand being one of the few places that you can actually go to, I'd be stupid not to. Yeah,
I
so
mean,
I
it's
guess
exciting as well.
yeah, it is.
To go to a
And
different country. I mean, that's something that I really want to do.
yeah,
And I talked to Dylan and a few other people about it on the podcast, not on
Yeah.
the podcast, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like, if I had the opportunity to do a exchange in school, or if I was at uni through uni,
Yeah.
I'd definitely go to a different country.
yeah. I mean, why wouldn't
So
you?
yeah,
Something different.
yeah,
you know?
something different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I'm not one of those people that really needs to travel, I suppose. I'm quite happy, and I'd like to see a bit more of Australia before I go overseas again. But yeah, I suppose traveling definitely did get me a little bit more excited to do more, and I want to go back to New Zealand.
I don't blame you. I mean, you were there for 9 months, basically your second home, or your first home,
Yeah.
sort of more so than, being back in the Blue
some
Mountains
ways.
is now. Yeah, only
Yeah.
because you've been there a lot, like, recently. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? Maybe if you've been here for a year, you'd probably feel a bit like
Yeah.
you've been here for a long time now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally. And I mean, it has been kind of strange to kind of adjust back in, especially with COVID, like getting used to what you can and can't do, and that kind of looming anticipation and fear of, who's going to have COVID, when am I going to get it,
Yeah.
because, New Zealand doesn't really have that at all at the moment, especially not where I was in Napier.
Where is that?
So Napier's on the east coast of the North Island.
What's the closest town,
Well, Napier is the big town.
Right, that's
so Napier's the big town, and I was actually in a little town called Havelock North nearby. So that's like a 7-hour drive to Auckland kind of thing. It's the other side of the country, so.
Yeah. Did you ever go into Auckland or go to the South Island?
Yeah, we went to Auckland once to watch the Wallabies play the All Blacks.
Hey.
Which was, that was a good time.
Who are you rooting for?
Well, obviously the Wallabies.
Okay.
As
You're
loud
like
as we
one
could.
person there.
Yeah, so I went, it was Archie and I, and then, so Archie came through this company called Let's Live, which is a really good option if you are looking for a gap year somewhere, because they do stuff all around the world. Shameless plug for Let's Live. Anyway. Not that I went through them, but,
Yeah. That's completely fun.
Yeah. So you get in touch with them, pay them some money, I guess, and then they set you up with a school.
You have to pay them.
Yeah, and there's an interview process, and
they're gonna make sure you're a good type of person for the job.
Yeah. And so
do you get paid from the? So just quickly, do you get paid from the school that you work with in New Zealand? Like, do they pay you, or is it just you get food, you get accommodation, you get experience, you get work experience? You know what?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting one. Like, so some of these other gappies. So just to go back, like the gappies, they get sent all over New Zealand, but they all met up first. So then we had places to go to visit. But depending on what school you're at, you get paid differently. So there were a couple of boys down in Christchurch on the South Island, at one of the like really wealthy big schools. They were getting about they're getting like 1,100 a fortnight plus food and accommodation provided.
That's pretty good.
Which is like a fucking sweet deal.
Yeah.
Whereas we were getting the food and accommodation and then 380 a fortnight.
Gee, that's a big difference.
Big
difference.
difference.
It's just because the other ones are private schools, bigger, like more wealthy schools.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. That's just the only difference.
And it's luck of the draw.
Yeah, very much so.
That's fair.
Yeah, and there were schools that paid less than that.
Yeah.
And yeah, when we worked it out, and considering the hours that we did per week, it might have been like $2 an hour.
Yeah.
Something. And basically, you sign up it's essentially volunteer.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm not sure what the visa deal is for people coming from overseas, like the UK and stuff. But I guess they need a working visa of some sort. But yeah, you're kind of being compensated with the experience, the food and the accommodation. And then you get this little bit of allowance, because obviously they want you to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now back to the Wallabies game.
Yeah, the Wallabies game. So, so there was a bunch of other gappies that went with us. There might have been like 7 or 8 of us.
And how'd you meet them?
They were through Let's Live.
Right.
So I didn't know them, but Archie did.
Right.
Because they all had an initiation and orientation in Auckland when they arrived, and then they split up and got sent down
And
to
they
their
just kept in
schools.
contact as well.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
kind of had a big group chat.
Mhm.
And then, so most of the North Island Gappies, we went up to Auckland and watched this rugby game, which was really funny. And, we had a few drinks at the game and
Just a
got
few,
pretty
yeah.
vocal,
Yeah.
which was really funny. And, like, New Zealand and Australian banter is so good. And
Yeah.
most Kiwis are pretty accepting, and, like, they're happy to give it back, but, like, they're not mean about it,
Yeah.
especially when the All Blacks are winning.
I mean, they're
When
the
the
best team in the
Wallabies-
world.
If the Wallabies had won that game and we'd
Yeah.
been as vocal as we were, we might not have made it out, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You see, said most, and that's fair. Most like New Zealanders, or most of
Yeah.
quite a few cultures, people are quite banterful and
Yeah.
have good sportsmanship. But did you
Exactly.
experience anything on the other side while you were there? A few like looks or a few like come
Oh,
on.
not really. I suppose in New Zealand as an Australian, you don't really stand out that much
yeah.
compared to if you went to Japan or China or
Yeah.
any of those places.
Mm-hmm.
And so I guess when you speak
Mhm.
and someone recognizes that you're Australian, then like you get the classic banter, like, oh, where's your sandpaper, and
Right.
all that crap. So yeah, like, it's all good. And to be honest, I didn't get as much of it as I thought, which
Yeah.
was kind of disappointing. But then I did go and work on a farm for a little while, and then the people that I was staying with, we went to one of their friends for dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and this guy, honestly, was just like he wasn't a bogan really. Like, he was a nice guy,
Mm-hmm.
but very New Zealand, like, kind of stoic farmer
Mm-hmm.
type, and he just absolutely ripped in the whole night, and, like, it was so funny.
Yeah, you
Just-
could tell he meant well.
Yeah,
He's-
and, like, I
right.
was quite happy to take it and then give it back.
Mhm.
But he was, just constantly asking me for sandpaper, and
I don't
all
get the
kinds of stuff.
sandpaper reference, but
It's cricket.
oh right,
you know,
oh
that whole-
yeah, I
yeah,
do, yeah,
yeah.
the whole,
Um,
right,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
that makes sense.
yeah. So, I mean, they love it, and it's good banter, really.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
Yeah.
So, you worked with him on his farm.
Not him. Like,
Oh, you worked
people up the road.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that was at the end of the year. I
Okay,
went and did a bit of, because, I mean, when you're in New Zealand, farming is like,
everything.
yeah. And a lot of the kids at school, the boarders, were from farms. And so it was really funny not coming from a farm. And,
Mhm.
They ask you, like, what your favorite tractor is and, like, all this crazy stuff. And,
Yeah.
like, they go hunting all the time and stuff.
Mm.
So it was really good to kind of experience all of that for a
Mhm.
little while. And I mean, I'd never been in a tractor before, so I didn't understand it.
Mhm.
But then I jumped in the tractor and I was like, this is actually pretty sick. Like, I could like tractors.
yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a really good experience for sure.
Mm.
Yeah, it was a sheep and beef farm in a place called Waipakaro. And that's like an hour south of where I was
Mm-hmm.
originally. And yeah, just kind of mainly doing manual labor stuff.
Is this volunteering or was someone?
No, they were paying me.
You're paying, yeah. The $380 a fortnight, or
A little bit more than that, actually.
Okay,
Yeah,
nice.
so I
That's
might as
good.
well have just gone to work for them for the whole year.
yeah.
But no, I met the family through the school.
Mm.
One of their kids was a boarder there, so
Yeah.
Um,
Wait,
Yeah.
so this is a primary school, right?
yeah, so in New Zealand it's a little different to here.
Okay.
They start. It's like everything's the same age, but they like skew the numbers a little bit. So basically, they don't have kindergarten; they have year 1, and so they go up to year 13. The year 13
Mhm.
is our year 12.
Year 12. Yep.
And a lot of places they do primary school, which is year 1 to year 6,
Mhm.
and then they have intermediate is 7 and 8.
Yep.
And then 9 to 13 is high school. But some places will lump the intermediate into either the primary or the high school.
Mm. So what was your school?
So this
What
was primary and intermediate.
that? Okay.
Yeah.
So you had like from anywhere from 5
Yeah.
to
To
12,
13.
13. Yeah.
Yeah. Which was interesting because I've not really had much to do with kids that age before.
Mhm.
So it was, pretty steep learning curve, especially with the little ones.
Mm.
They're a lot of work.
Yeah.
For sure. Constant supervision and
Mhm.
always needing something.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and I mean, in my first month, yeah, it was probably about a month in. There was this little. Okay, so Havelock North, where the school is a really white suburb, right? It's like probably one of the most white places in New Zealand.
That's good. You fit in then. Otherwise,
Exactly. Yeah, yeah. And it's also very like upper class, wealthy kind of thing. Like a lot of kids are good at tennis because they have a tennis court in their backyard. You know.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. So this little boy, he started kind of similar time to me. In year one, he was called Justin, and he was just this little round like chicken nugget of an Asian Chinese kid.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So obviously, it's like instantly recognizable, and everyone loved him. But his English wasn't that good, and he was super shy. And so there was one time when I was on playground duty looking after them, and everything was fine, and Justin's just like happy enough in his own little world, and then all of a sudden his face just changes, and I'm like, something's not right. And he goes and puts his hands down his pants. I'm like, Justin, what are you doing? And he pulls it out and like shows it to me, and it's just brown. And I'm like,
no. Wait, so his whole hand is just...
Not his whole hand, but he just had a little smear.
Right, a little smear of shit on his fingers.
Yeah, and I was like, you are kidding.
Playing smelly fingers.
And I'm like, yeah, what am I going to do here? So, just
you gotta
take him to the bathroom because there's no other teacher around. It's just me.
Yeah, you got to sort it out.
Fuck this. So, yeah, just got him in.
It's always the fucking Asian.
Yeah, pretty much. No. So that was interesting. Probably he learnt to actually speak up when he needs the bathroom, and I learnt how to fucking deal with kids that shit their pants. So
yeah, wow.
Yeah, that was fun.
Get a little insight into what it's like to be a parent.
Yeah, well, and that was another good experience, I suppose. And I joked with the teachers that working with the juniors was probably like the most powerful form of contraceptive that you could have. You know, because like I don't want that. I don't want that on my hands right now. Like
right now, for sure.
Give me a few years maybe. But
maybe.
Oh yeah, like I can definitely see kids in the future.
Yeah, well, nice, you're wanting to be a teacher, right?
Yeah, and like I do love working with kids, and I could definitely see that I'd like to be a dad one day.
Yeah, for sure.
Not for a while.
Yeah, not for a while.
Yeah.
So, do you want to get into high school teaching?
Yeah, high school. Even though I did have this good experience with primary school, like I enjoyed the juniors quite a lot. So kind of 5-year-olds to 7-year-olds, they were quite fun. But super like
hyperactive.
Hyperactive, and just they need
high maintenance,
100% like dedication, focus, supervision, 24/7. Yeah, and like on a normal day in the classroom, you hardly get anything done, really. Yeah. You're just keeping them occupied and trying to teach them really basic stuff. And as much as I enjoyed it, I didn't actually really teach them that much this year. And I don't know that I would be that good a teacher for them. And then you move up into the primary school, and like they were probably my least favorites, like the year 4
all
or
start
year 5.
developing their own little characteristics and personalities, and then some of them become little shits.
Yeah, like they're not like the 1 to 3s were cute, annoying sometimes, and crazy, but pretty cute most of the time. But then the 4 to 5s, like they're just not cute. They're just annoying, and they think they're like really funny and cool. But they're just not, and it's just annoying.
We were all there.
Yeah, and even the year 6, like you're starting to get a little bit more like, tolerable.
Oh, those poor kids.
Yeah, no, I was really nice to them most of the
course,
time. But like they're kids, so they're annoying.
Yeah.
And then year 7 and 8 were probably pretty good. I quite enjoyed working with them because and for me, I want to actually be able to impart something on them. Whereas I feel like, well, maybe this is a bit like egotistical and like me needing gratification, but I want them to like actually remember that I've given them something, because you might give them something as a like when they're in year 1 to 3, but they won't remember it. It's just all foundational, and you're just preparing them to go on to other stuff. Whereas I just want to be able to give them something that they can take away into their life after school.
Yeah, I don't think that's egotistical at
No.
all. I think it depends what type of person. Like, you can say that, and it can be egotistical, right?
Yeah.
Because some people, they get pleasure out of doing that, right?
Yeah. Well, and they want to be remembered, and like the
for them, it's just themselves. They're in it for themselves. They're not looking to
You're not
benefit.
trying to improve the kids' lives.
Exactly. And you said this essentially the same thing that Dylan said when I spoke to him about teaching, because he's doing teaching. And I said the same thing about coaching basketball for the girls that I coach. Like, as someone who wants to help teach kids, you do want to leave having had an impact, like a positive impact, something that you can leave with them, so that as they grow up, that's going to stay with them, as they continue to grow and learn. So definitely don't think that's egotistical, but
and I suppose it's funny because my inspiration for teaching, because I want to be a teacher, I think it came from Parish Robbins, the outdoor ed teacher at Grammar, because I hadn't really thought of it before then. I mean, my mum's a teacher, my grandma was a teacher, so it's been in the family, and I've been around that kind of stuff for my whole life. But in year 11, I was sure that I wanted to go and join the Air Force and try and be a pilot. That was what I wanted.
You and Dylan are sounding the exact same person. It's kind of crazy. It's kind of weird, yeah.
It is very strange. I haven't really thought about how similar I guess we are. But, so the Air Force was the thing. And then I very quickly realised that wasn't going to be for me.
Why was that?
I think, so the subjects that I chose for school in year 11 and 12 were very orientated towards that background. So it's all science, so chemistry, physics, and then maths. I did Extension 1 maths. I did engineering. And then I did advanced English, and woodworking was like my kind of release.
So you had like 14 units or something?
13. Oh, yeah. I had 13 to start with, and then I did physics and absolutely hated it. And I dropped it at the end of year 11.
Why'd you hate it? Just
partly because of the teacher, Mrs. Tanner.
You didn't have to as a teacher.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Here we are. Anyway, that's fine. So I just really...
you just didn't want to be in the class.
Yeah, I just did not like her style of teaching at all. And there's nothing against her. Like, I'm not going to talk shit about her. That's why I feel like I can say her name. I just didn't feel like she really, was a good teacher for me. But, so I didn't enjoy that. So I dropped it. And then I did enjoy my subjects, but, eventually that idea of joining the Air Force kind of dropped off. And then I thought I might want to go into engineering. And I got into an engineering degree, but never went through with it because I was like, after the HSC, my brain was totally fried from maths. So I was like, I cannot do any maths anymore. And so, along came outdoor ed. Like, I got into rock climbing. And it kind of just went from there. And so I had this foundation from year 9 and 10 of wild ed, which was, I don't know. I feel like I enjoyed it at the time, but I didn't realize how important it was to me. Like, I did it and I had fun, and then I kind of moved on. It's funny, I put it as one of my backups for year 11 and 12, and then it didn't run. And I felt like awful because we were the first year group that got offered it. And like, Parrish was so excited about it. He wrote the syllabus for it. He got it all going, and then no one took it.
I'm surprised no one took that, considering that
not enough people took it.
3/4 of the year took it in year 9 and 10.
Yeah,
I think half the people enjoyed it and wanted to do it, and the other half just wanted an escape from something else.
Yeah, totally.
But then again, I'm surprised that there wasn't enough for one class.
Yeah, so, totally.
Wait, so just to be clear, because I didn't do wild ed.
Yeah.
But obviously, I was at school, so I was around.
Yeah.
But wild ed was like half theory, half prac, and the prac was rock climbing, abseiling, going on a snow trip. Just doing these little trips and adventures like canyoning and stuff like that.
Yeah. So it was basically, I think we had like 3 or 4 classes per week of it, and then we had a double period, usually on like a Friday afternoon. So after we'd get together at lunch, and then we'd go and do something, whether it's bushwalk or like some navigation, rock climbing, abseiling, whatever. And that was awesome. And then we had all these different camps that we went on throughout the year.
Yeah, I really wish I did Wild Ed.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I'm a lot more like I think open and kind of like trying to explore a lot more.
Yeah.
Now, like, when I was in school, didn't really think about wanting to do an exchange trip just because I was still kind of in my shell and but now it's like, damn, I wish I could have gone on exchange. I wish I could have done Wild Ed. I wish I just could have done more drama.
Yeah, well, that's it.
I mean,
and I'm the same, I suppose. Like this, I chose the subjects that I did with the idea that I wanted to do something, and then that something changed, and I wish that I could have known that earlier, but that's life, isn't it?
That's right.
So here we are, and I've done all that kind of stuff after school. So and that's, I suppose I could plug TAFE now and say, like throughout school you get told that you got to go to uni just non-stop, and the ATAR, HSC, it's like this holy grail, and you're just working towards it all through year 11 and 12, and it's constantly just in your mind. And I mean, you really are told that you've got to go to uni, right? But if you want to do something hands-on, something quick, something that you can actually do and then go to work, like TAFE is such a good option, and it's way cheaper than uni. So like the number of, so my sister's boyfriend Zach at the moment, he did an economics degree at Sydney Uni, and he finished last year, and now this year he's like, what am I going to do? Because he doesn't have a job from it yet. He's doing odd jobs and whatever, but it does take some time to actually get a proper job out of uni sometimes. Whereas with TAFE, I feel like often you can just go straight into working because the skills that you learn are very like specific, and it's very hands-on, and you're pretty much ready to go into the workplace from TAFE. So definitely recommend TAFE to anyone who's not sure, really.
If you had the courage to go and do uni, I mean, you need the same courage to just go to do a TAFE course that you want to do. First few days or whatever, kind of scary. That's how it is for everyone. But you get through it. Just do the course.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's much more personable than uni as well, because you'll actually be in a class. Often
actually be in a class.
Well,
no, it's just funny considering that they've had so much online stuff to do with uni and stuff.
But I don't think TAFE's hardly been online at all throughout the whole of COVID. And so you're in this class. It's kind of like school, whereas uni is very much not like school. You go and you have a whole bunch of different classes, and different teachers, and I feel like sometimes it can feel like no one's really looking out for you at uni. It's it is very self-driven, and so
it really is.
And TAFE can be as well, but often it's a much smaller class, one class, and you're just doing all this stuff together.
It definitely seems like there's more the focus within classes, or maybe not like a perceived focus, but just the background focus of TAFE is like more of a community than uni is, especially considering the size and the amount of people there. When you're at uni and you're in this huge coliseum of people, and then one person at the bottom or wherever they are, the lecturer, just having this slideshow or however they're trying to present, whether it's talking and showing what they're going to show. It's definitely a lot more self-driven and separate from something like TAFE, where you've got a small community of people and you're engaged with the person who's teaching and lecturing you. So
Totally. And I mean, I don't know if that's the case with all TAFE classes. Who knows? But certainly with outdoor, so the course was outdoor recreation. And I mean, after that 6 months, like we had this group of people that was just so tight.
Yeah.
And like I've made some of my best friends out of that. So
That's great.
yeah, I definitely would recommend, even if you're not wanting to go into the outdoors as a profession, like it's a great course to do. To gain skills, to gain friends, to gain some experience, and confidence as well. Yeah.
So going back to New Zealand now, what was your, not job title, but what were you doing throughout the time there? While you were employed and working with kids, because you said you worked with all ages. When you look, whether you were on lunchtime, duty and having to look after the small ones or even the older ones. Like what was your job teaching, or what were you kind of doing?
Yeah, so the job title was actually tutor. And basically we were all around the school doing all kinds of different stuff. So kind of an average day might look like 7:30. We have before school care with the juniors. So any kids that arrive early, we just look after them, play games.
Make them breakfast, or
no,
you don't have that?
So we had breakfast. Breakfast was usually at about 7:20 for the boarders. So they just I'd go have breakfast, and then we do before school care, and school would start at about 8:10 for the big kids. They had this thing called squads, which was kind of like a military almost thing. They'd all line up and they'd kind of be inspected, I guess, for like neatness.
Okay.
Which was kind of interesting, and I never actually went to one because I was always at before school care.
Right. So this is just in preparation for school starting?
Yeah, so one of the things was like they'd always have to have a comb in their pocket, just like in case their hair was out of place, which is super archaic and oldie worldy, but kind of cool. And
how do you think that? What type of impact do you think that has on small kids?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know that they really think much of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was definitely kind of interesting, and that's one of the only things that they really do that's kind of feels like it's in the 1920s or something.
Right. Just the school education system in itself.
Yeah. Well, that's right. Yeah. And so after before school care, I guess they kick off their class at like about 8:30, 8:40 maybe, and then usually I'd leave them and I'd have a few periods to go, and like I had a timetable that I followed. So I'd basically just go around to wherever I needed to be, whether that was in a classroom or doing some admin work like photocopying or.
So what would you do in the classroom?
It varied from classroom to classroom. There's one class in particular that I had a lot to do with, and that was reading groups mostly. So I was just kind of reading with them and making sure they were kind of enunciating and following the punctuation, that kind of stuff.
And what was this with all year groups, or just one?
No, that was
specific class?
one specific class, year 7.
Okay.
So they were like 11, 12. Which was kind of fun. That was probably the main kind of like teaching role that I had.
Yeah. And what were the other ones again, sorry?
And then I did some like admin work. So that's basically running around doing whatever the office needs often. And another big one was PE, which they call over there, they call it Hawata.
Hawata?
Yeah.
Did I say that right?
Yeah, which just means like health kind of thing. So that was mainly helping with the PE side of it.
So were you with a teacher? Were you like their little assistant?
Yeah.
Like go, Jackson, go set up 4 cones over there.
Pretty much,
get them ready. Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes I'd run a game or run a warm up, whatever.
Wait, so did they? What was their school uniform? Was it like ours?
Yeah, it was pretty similar. Although they wore shorts, not like trousers.
Yeah.
And it was weird. During the summer, they wear sandals.
They wear sandals.
Yeah.
Okay, no, let them feet be free.
Yeah, exactly. Although they got really sweaty, like.
Of course.
Yeah. Not that I know from like.
But that's the school uniform. Sandals.
That's the school uniform. Yeah. Yeah.
Was that the same in other schools? Did you talk to?
Not that I really know of. No.
Right.
But I think mainly like the New Zealanders, they love being barefoot. And so that was part of that. Like
Yeah,
they can just
great.
take their shoes off real easy.
Great. That sounds
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, yeah, it's not bad at all. But it didn't look that good, but it was
Yeah.
cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and so then they'd like they'd get changed into their PE gear and come down, and we do like mainly we just played games with them.
Yeah, great. That sounds like the best job.
Yeah, it was pretty good. We played a bit of like Aussie rules, which was cool.
Yeah.
And then we'd do like relays and stuff and play different games, like just rotate through, play some hockey, play some touch rugby, ultimate frisbee, all kinds of stuff. So
that's the shit I loved.
yeah,
Swear to God,
yeah, exactly.
When I had PE at school, and
happy days.
and you rock up, it's like we're doing ultimate frisbee, or we're playing some like dynamic weird game, nothing generic, like the frisbee. I'm like,
Dodgeball.
fucking love that shit.
Yeah, dodgeball was the classic.
Yeah,
so good.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so they enjoyed that, and like often I'd join in and just show them who was boss.
That's all right.
Yeah. And then so because there was the other guy Archie with me, one of us would do morning tea duty with the juniors, and then the other would do lunchtime duty.
Yeah.
And that was just supervision.
Yeah.
And sometimes if we were feeling energetic, we'd join in and play games with them.
Yeah.
They went through big phases of different stuff. So they liked freeze tag for a while, and then
freeze tag is just
where you just tag someone. Like there's one person in, and you just try and freeze everyone.
Yeah.
By tagging them, and then when there was not too many, we'd play kids versus adults, which is basically I'd start in, and I'd try and tag one of them, and as soon as I tagged one of them, then it would turn and they'd all be in, and they'd all be trying to tag me. So that was pretty fun. That definitely kept me fit. Like, whew, jeez, that was crazy.
It's like 20 little kids running after you.
Yeah. So that was fun, and we were on this little like playground thing most lunches, and there were so many times that kids like ran into each other or like ran into poles and shit. Like
it's bound to happen.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
But it was just how it is.
Yeah.
It's good learning for them, and that was one thing that I appreciated. Like the kids aren't bubble wrapped or sugar coated or anything like that. Like, we let them kind of make mistakes.
Yeah.
Obviously, don't let them hurt themselves.
Of course.
That badly, but hurt themselves a little bit.
You're a kid. I mean, that's what happens. You have to go through that shit.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna be some dolled up little
exactly
prince or princess. I mean, especially probably more the wealthy kids, but
yeah. And a lot of these kids come from very privileged backgrounds. Like it didn't show too much. Only with a few kids it did.
Right.
Like,
what, they just felt like they're entitled or something?
Yeah, there was. So we did a bit of snowboarding during the winter.
That sounds amazing.
It was really good.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, and so we went to Mount Ruapehu, which is in the middle of the North Island, and we knew there was going to be a whole bunch of the school's called Herraworth, and so we knew there'd be a bunch of Herraworth kids there. And eventually we did run into them. They were all like skiing in this like mob of like 12. And obviously, I mean, Archie and I were not, we'd never snowboarded before. And so we were like kind of still getting used to it.
Yeah, first time.
Yeah. And so
you got heckled by some little kids.
Basically, like we weren't doing that bad. We were going down like blue slopes, and trying some blacks and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, they just like try and whiz by us and like buzz the tower kind of thing.
That's funny.
And basically, like one of these kids, Ben Pringle, just
name drop.
Yeah, I know. No, he's all right, but. Basically, I don't know why I keep name dropping people. I should stop. But anyway,
it's alright. I can edit it out if we want. But
it doesn't really matter. He just like gave us so much shit. He was like, "Oh man, you guys are the worst at snowboarding. Like you suck." And the thing is,
this is a 12-year-old kid, right?
Yeah, he's 12.
Yeah,
and like Archie and I,
that's funny.
Never snowboarded before.
Yeah,
I live 8 hours from the snow. He lives like 15.
Yeah.
And so we were just learning, and we were doing pretty well, I thought. And this kid, he lives in Havelock North.
Yeah.
But his parents own a lodge on Mount Ruapehu.
Yeah, right.
And they are life members, and they have bought him a life membership. So he's grown up skiing, and it's like, can you really not see? Like, I don't care if you give me shit, but can you not see that you are the most entitled little brat?
Yeah, try saying that to a kid. They're going to have no idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, they do have no idea, and they are just kids.
Yeah.
But
exactly. It's like,
yeah. Definitely tried to, like, we did. I mean, we told him that. We were like, I mean,
Yeah,
you've
of
got a life
course.
membership, mate. Like,
Yeah.
of course you're going to be good at skiing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was pretty funny, actually. There was one time I was on the ski lift up, and I saw it. Archie was snowboarding down, and all these kids come past, and one of them tries to like grab him and pull him over.
No.
But then Archie like fends him off, knocks him over, and then like 10 others behind them all stack and fall over. It was just like the funniest thing ever. Oh, that was satisfying.
Mm.
Yeah.
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 That is funny. Just a little, like like a ball, like he's the bowling ball and they're the pins and
pretty much.
down they go.
Yeah. It was so good.
And you get the bird's eye view.
Yeah.
That's funny.
That was perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Did you have any like sports carnivals or anything like that while you were there?
Yeah. We missed the swimming because that's in summer and we were only there in April. But we had the cross country, which was a big deal. Like a lot of the kids trained for it, and we trained for it in like PE.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just running laps.
Yep.
And yeah, so that was a big deal. And there's some good athletes. Like there's, I mean, I think it's a little over a K. Like it might be 1.1, 1.2 Ks, and I think I ran that in like, that's one lap.
Yeah.
And I think I ran that in maybe like 4 minutes 15, 4 minutes 18, I think was the one, which is like not too bad.
I've got no idea. I think that's good.
It's all right.
Okay,
it's nothing special, but it's especially for a 19-year-old, you know, that's pretty all right, but not that good. And so there's this one kid, he's in year 8, and he ran it in the same amount of time as that.
Yeah, I think there's this weird thing where you get to this age, like you are 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And because you're so light.
Yeah, totally.
And athletic and you train, like you can beat people who are old, like quite older and do really well. Like it's just some weird thing. So you don't expect a 12-year-old to be fucking fast as shit.
Yeah.
Or as fast as a fit 19-year-old.
Well, none of them were as quick, but this kid was like, he could outrun me for sure.
Yeah. Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah. But like, and he does train for it, and he's going to be a really good runner one day. Like that's just how it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so a lot of them took it pretty seriously. And then we had the athletics carnival as well. That was towards the end of the year, and that was really funny because they have a whole bunch of kind of like special relays at the end, and one of them is a teachers versus students relay.
Of course, you gotta love that.
Yeah. And so a couple of years ago, the last Gappies who were here, they ran the teacher student relay, and there's one guy who I heard so much about from so many teachers like the whole year, because you either loved him or you hated him.
Right.
And he was like, "Yep, I'll be good. I'll be sweet. I'm pretty quick, you know. I'm pretty quick." So it's 4x100, and I have no idea how the rest of the race went, but basically he had a lead like coming into the final leg, and I don't know how far it was, but he starts running, and I think he's probably looking okay, but then the other kid starts running, and he just absolutely pips him like it's unbelievable. I mean, it's the same kind of thing that you're talking about. Like, kids can actually be way better than, you know, adults, I guess. But basically, because of that, the teachers were genuinely putting so much pressure on us to win that race. They were like, "You cannot lose this," and they were not joking. Yeah, they could not. They were like, "We were not allowed to lose."
Yeah, teachers can't lose to kids. Yeah, I'm sorry. It's not acceptable.
It's not. Yeah. But often like, they might make it close just to make it interesting. Yeah. But this year we were not having that. Like, it was myself. I started. Yeah. And then passed it to the chaplain.
It's always the chaplain.
Yeah. Well, we were like, we were really concerned because he's not an athletic guy. Particularly, like he's pretty like slim, but he's not that fit, I would say. But he was like so nervous. We were like practicing the baton changes because he was like, I'm not dropping this. I can't drop this.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. And then we had to coerce one of the other teachers into doing it because like he just did not want to do it.
Yeah.
But we're like, you'll be fine. Just do it. And he's like pretty fit guy in his 30s. Like, he wasn't going to have a problem. And then Archie brought it home. And Archie, for a warm-up, Archie ran like a 12.8. 100. Yeah.
Pretty
so
quick.
he's quick. He's rapid.
So you weren't losing that unless the chaplain dropped the baton.
Pretty much. Yeah. And so right out of the gate, I was just like going like hell.
Yeah. Screw these kids.
Yeah. And actually, I was running against Ben Pringle.
Yeah.
And he slips at the start.
That's
and
great.
I'm like, I felt bad for him because
course.
I wanted actually like a proper race, and it was over like within that second.
Yeah.
And so I just absolutely gassed it past him.
Yeah.
And great change to David. And I wasn't really watching because I was like just caught up in the moment.
Yeah,
but
of course.
Apparently David, a lot of people who were watching reckon he was the quickest.
Really?
Yeah, because he was running with fear in his legs. Like he was just absolutely going for it. Because he was not having the humiliation of the defeat on his shoulders. So he just absolutely tore it up. And then this other teacher, continued strong. Then Archie just brought it home. We won it by about like 60 meters.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was so good. So funny.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was the athletics carnivals. And sport is a really big thing for them. Obviously. Like New Zealanders love sport.
Yeah.
They live and breathe for it. So yeah, it was good to be involved. And I definitely learnt more about rugby union than I knew originally. So that was good. Oscar Lee will be happy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tell me about like some of the experiences you had with, you know, some more of the outings that you had as well. You know, like I saw a few Instagram or Facebook photos of you and like a group of people. For some reason, I swear there was like 10 rangers or something. I don't know what
there
was
might have
going
been
on.
like 2 others.
Yeah,
there were 2 others. They were the other Gappies that were in New Zealand. So we did spend a bit of time traveling in the holidays with them. In the winter, we went down to the South Island. And it ended up being, there was like 20 something of us all hanging out. We all
that's great.
Yeah, we got together in Queenstown and spent a week down there.
Do anything illegal or don't want to mention it? Don't have to specifically say.
I don't think I did.
Come on, Jackson.
Which was fortunate.
Ah.
Yeah. A few others definitely did.
Nice.
But not me. I'm a good boy, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a really good week. We did some snowboarding.
It's just before or after you kind of learnt how to...
This was actually before. This was the first time, and then the next time was in Ruapehu. But we were still definitely learning.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So, yeah, Queenstown's amazing as well. I don't think it's my favourite place in New Zealand, but it's really cool, like, as a young person.
Did you go up to, like, Centrepoint Tower? Or the big
the Sky Tower.
The Sky Tower?
That's in Auckland.
Oh, that's in Auckland. Did you go there?
No, we didn't.
Okay.
All the others did, because they did it on their orientation, but I
right.
wasn't with them.
Yeah. Would you jump off that?
Yeah, like I would, but I wouldn't pay like $400 to, personally.
I don't think it's that much.
I think it's probably not that much less. Because I think, so one of our...
So I went there.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I didn't do it, because I'd probably do it now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But,
it would be worth it. Like, it would be worth it.
Yeah. I don't know. 200. I honestly couldn't.
Yeah,
I'm probably
it's probably
lying,
more
it's
like
just talking out of my ass. But
$200 to $300. Yeah.
I mean, the view is fucking great.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Oh yeah, it's pretty cool for sure. But yeah, one of the Gappies, she did do a bungee jump.
Oh yeah.
Lake Taupo.
Fuck, I'm jealous.
Yeah, and that was cool, but it is so expensive. Like it's crazy.
Yeah, for something you wait, especially if there's a lot of people there, you got to wait fucking forever.
Yeah.
And then when you do it, it's over in 10 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean,
and that's why I wouldn't really pay for it, because I mean, I'm anticipating, you know, those like giant swings that people set up in canyons and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could one day, maybe I'll be able to set up my own one of them. So
wait for that.
That'd be cool. Then I'll invite you out there.
Hey,
you can come do that.
All right. I'll hold you to that. If I ever see you on any social media of a video of you doing this giant swing, I'll be like, all right, I need to invite.
Right, deal.
Yeah.
Done deal.
Done.
Yeah. But yeah, Queenstown's awesome because like we were there, even though there was pretty much no travellers except people from Queensland, because the Queensland bubble was still open at that time. So we've met quite a few Queenslanders there. And yeah, basically every night is a Saturday night.
I love it.
It's so good.
Do they have clubs open? Like,
yeah,
you could do anything.
Yeah.
Did you
more
go
or
to
less.
any clubs?
Yeah, we went to a few. There's one called Cowboy.
Is this on a weeknight or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were there like for the
Fuck.
whole week pretty much.
Right.
And we went out almost every night.
Great.
Yeah.
Fuck. So
Yeah,
jealous.
Cowboy was fun. They've got a mechanical bull that you can get on.
I fucking hope so. If they're
Yeah.
called Cowboy.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
That
So
was
you
pretty
went on
funny.
that?
I actually didn't.
Jackson.
Because it was so busy. I
Right.
had to wait
Everyone
ages.
was.
Yeah. But I lie. I did go on it, but not while it was going. They had it closed off,
Okay, right.
and no one was allowed in. But then I got dead to go in.
Yeah.
Just
And
while
you
it
just
wasn't
sat on it,
and I
yeah.
went and sat on it and like cheered, and everyone cheered, and then I got kicked out.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Kicked out?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
the night, or you weren't allowed back in anymore? Or?
I don't think I went back, but they wouldn't have remembered me.
Yeah.
Like they didn't take
yeah.
my
They're
ID.
just
or
like, all right,
anything like that,
time to
so,
go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
That's fair enough. Well.
Yeah. And I knew like that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
When the
That's
Seki
all
came over, I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, okay, I'm leaving.
Yeah. It's like, don't worry.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
So that was fun, and then I can't remember what the others were called. But yeah, they were all good fun.
Yeah.
And there's a really famous place called Ferg Burger down there.
Ferg Burger.
Ferg Burger.
Okay.
And sometimes you can be waiting for like an hour and a half for a burger from this
It's got
place.
that good of a reputation.
It's got that good. Yeah. And like, there's a lot of hype, but I think it is worth it.
Oh, it's
Like,
worth it?
They're really good burgers.
What'd you give
Really
it out
good.
of 10?
Oh, I'd probably give it like a 9. At
A
least.
9?
9.5.
What's it miss? Oh, 9. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's.
It's
I mean, you can't really give anything a 10.
Yeah,
Unless you've had
exactly.
everything.
Yeah,
In the world.
yeah.
Okay, so 9,
it's,
9.5.
it's the best
like
burger
the best you
that
can
I've
get.
had.
Yeah.
We went there a couple of times. And so like I had one of the classic burgers,
Mhm.
like a beef patty and all that. And then I had this like what was it? It was like almost like a Southeast Asian like limey, coconutty, deep fried tofu burger, which was
Deep fried tofu.
it was delicious. It was so good. That was my favorite for sure out of the two.
Fucking hungry now.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I was really like definitely like you got to do it if you're in Queenstown.
All right.
Despite
If I go to New Zealand, I'll have to
Yeah.
re-ask you what it's called and
yeah, Ferg Burger. You'll find out. Like,
Yeah.
If you're down there, you'll hear about Ferg Burger.
Yeah.
But yeah, go on like a Thursday night or something
Mhm.
because it's like not as busy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so good. But even though it was not that busy, it was still like pretty busy. And on the ski fields, like at the lifts, sometimes you'd be waiting like half an hour to get on, just with the line. Like I can't imagine what it would be like if it was full. Like
Yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah.
Fuck, I never have really thought about the fact that you have to
You gotta
wait
queue
to
for
get
that
back
stuff,
up the
yeah.
hill.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah,
something.
it's a real pain.
I just
in the
think
bum.
skiing, like you ski, snowboard, whatever,
Yeah.
go down the fucking mountain, get on a
Yeah.
ski lift,
Ski lift, yeah.
go back up,
Yeah.
go back down.
Yeah.
But you gotta wait half an hour.
If it's busy, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's like in Australia because I've never been.
Yeah.
But,
Could be the similar
Queenstown's-
thing. depending on how
Queenstown's
busy.
definitely busier, I would say,
Yeah.
because people come from all around the world. Whereas Australia's ski fields are kind of shit.
So even when you were there, it was a half an hour,
Yeah, there was one day when it was half an hour.
right?
Yeah.
So how many days? How long were you there for?
Well,
On
we were there
this
for a week,
school-
and we
Was
did.
this on the school trip?
Yeah.
Or-
Oh no, this was school holidays.
So you were
So-
there for a week, first time.
A week in Queenstown, but
Yeah.
the school holidays were 3 weeks.
Yep.
So we did, like we drove down, caught the ferry across,
Mhm.
and then drove down the west coast, which there's not a lot on the west coast except for absolutely stunning, like natural places. You go past a couple of glaciers, you by the ocean the whole way. Amazing like geological
Yeah.
formations and yeah, seriously cool.
Take any photos?
I did, yeah, they're on
Okay,
my
good.
Instagram.
Okay, check
Probably.
out.
Yeah. But yeah, so West Coast, then Queenstown, and then
Yep.
back up
So you did a
the
week,
East Coast.
first, snow trip, big
Yeah.
group of people.
Yeah.
Same group of people the whole time for the next 2 weeks when you were traveling through the coast, or?
No, it was so we were on the coast first, and
Okay,
then that was like 9 of us, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then we had the big group in Queenstown,
Yep.
but we were kind of staying at 2 different places.
Yep. But you just met up occasionally.
Yeah. Which was cool. And then yeah, we had the week there, and then we went back up the East Coast.
Yep.
And drove home. So yeah, it's funny. Like I really enjoyed it, and it's a beautiful part of the world, and I want to go back. But it was definitely challenging to travel with people that I didn't know very well.
Why would you say that?
Because everybody has a different idea of what the holiday is going to look like.
Right.
And I guess I'm the one that had the different idea to most people. Because part of it was probably me being a year older, a little bit wiser, you know.
Is that what you'd say, is it?
Nah. But it is kind of true. Like,
Okay.
in some ways,
Yep.
yeah, like I would have preferred to stop off at a whole bunch of places while we were driving and, you know, go on a bushwalk, just enjoy the view.
Take it.
Whatever.
Take the
Yeah.
journey there and enjoy it. Take it a bit
exactly.
slower. And they were just destinations.
Yeah, especially on the West Coast. Like, there's even
It's
when
so
we get
beautiful.
to where we're going, there's not that much there.
Yeah.
But I guess they didn't really understand that, like, it's okay to just kind of take time. And I mean, I'm a bit of a, like, obviously I love the outdoors, so
Yeah.
I have
You appreciate that a bit more.
and I have no problem with, you know, like walking for an hour, 2 hours to go and see something.
Yeah.
Whereas they were like, nah, I don't really want to do that.
Yeah, fuck that.
So anyway, that's just is what it is.
Yeah.
And it was a really good trip nonetheless. So
That's good.
yeah, feels like a long time ago now.
Really?
Yeah.
How long
Yeah.
ago was that
Well,
holiday?
that was like
In which school?
July.
Oh,
kind of thing.
okay. So you
June, July.
weren't there for that long
No.
before you went on that trip?
No.
A couple
Yeah,
months.
it was. Yeah, that was the first term, and then we went on that trip.
So did you go on any more trips for any of the other school holidays?
Yeah, so the other one in spring, we had 3 weeks again, which was awesome. And it was just the North Islanders. We did a trip of the North Island. And that one was, it was funny. It was kind of the same thing as the South Island, like the whole difficult group, but even more so. There were a few new people that had just kind of come, and there were fewer people, so like less kind of room to breathe, I suppose.
Where there were fewer people but less room to breathe.
Yeah, because you're just together all the time. Like, in terms of
Right. So you're saying like so with a bigger group you can kind of
you can
kind of split up and
Yeah.
but with a smaller group you're just more together. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So, we went up the east coast of the North Island, and that was cool. There's not all that much there really. And then we went up this place called Coromandel, which is a little peninsula at the top. And that was beautiful, but we didn't spend much time there again.
Which you would have liked to.
Would have liked to, yeah.
So what do you mean not much time? Like you were there for a day or an
Yeah,
afternoon?
we drove up, stayed a night, and then drove back down.
How long was the drive?
It was like 4 hours.
Okay.
Oh,
So 4 hours there, stay the night, 4 hours back.
yeah, kind of thing.
I mean, if I'm driving 4 hours, I'm staying at least 2 days.
Yeah. It might have been a little bit less than 4 hours, but
Yeah.
it was still decent drive.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you drive?
no, not really. Archie was like incessant that he would drive everywhere.
Really?
Yeah.
Control
he's
freak or?
not a control freak. He just really likes driving.
Okay, well that's
Yeah.
fair. Mate,
And-
if someone else likes driving, like, hey, you fucking drive.
Yeah.
I might take a sleep.
Exactly.
I might go on my phone.
Yeah.
I might just look out the fucking window.
Yeah.
You just focus on where we're going.
Exactly.
That's fine with me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then it was, but it was funny because he definitely did drive a lot on that trip. But the few times that I did end up driving were when we were with other people, and he'd prefer to like talk to them, than to drive. So I don't know. I'm not a very like confrontational person, so I didn't bring it up, and it was fine. Like it didn't matter at all.
I mean, he's driving, and it's like, all right,
yeah.
all right, I'll take this one.
And I'm quite happy to drive myself as well. So
Yeah.
it was not a biggie.
I mean, when you're driving, you're still in the car with other people anyway.
Yeah, that's
Obviously, it's a little different, but
it didn't matter at all. Again, like we were going to places, not like enjoying the journey. So yeah, but anyway, that's just another reason to go back to New Zealand and do everything again.
Yeah,
because you know you can do it again, and it's just as beautiful. So
exactly,
I'm looking forward to that with some other friends for sure.
Well, so you want to do that, and you're planning it? Are you?
Oh, not planning it yet, but I will.
You've
one
thought
day.
about it.
Yeah, and it's not really like.
Who are you gonna go with?
Don't know yet. we'll see.
Got a few people in mind, or?
Yeah, well, I was honestly thinking like Sarah,
Mm-hmm.
would be really good. Like she'd love it.
Yeah.
And we could definitely like be in a van and just cruise and like yeah, that'd be sick.
Mm-hmm.
But who knows?
Yeah.
Like Tommy and Oscar, obviously, I'd love to do a trip with them.
Yeah. With
Whether
the
it be New
boys.
Zealand or
Yeah.
here. And then who knows? Like I'll meet people at uni and even like we'll be good with TAFE friends. So yeah, one day. It's not a matter of like if, it's a matter of when. So
Yeah.
One day.
It's great.
But then I reckon on this second holiday was like the highlight of the trip. I went on this 6-day hike by myself.
6-day hike by yourself.
Yeah.
So you were trying to convince other people to come with you, and they just
No, I was very much happy to go by myself.
Yeah. Okay.
No one wanted to come anyway. But
Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of a little like challenge for me, I suppose, because I didn't do that much hiking while I was over there, and I was really glad that I got this one in, even though it was like a bit of a massive one. It was cool because I've never done 6 days hiking by myself, and I've never hiked by myself. So yeah, I actually tried to do one by myself before I left, up at like Mount Hay in Lura, and I did the first day, but then shit kind of went wrong. Like I lost my compass.
Really?
Which wouldn't have been a big deal, but yeah, and I kind of got a bit off track. I was going like off track anyway, but it wasn't where I wanted to be.
Yeah.
And so I ended up turning around and walking back home, and I did like 30 Ks that day with my pack.
Yeah,
So
right.
That was a bit of a mish, but
Yeah, Jesus.
it's a good experience. Yeah.
So tell me about the 6-day hike.
Yeah, it was awesome. It was in a place called the Kaimai Mamaku Range, which is up at the base of the Coromandel.
What's that?
The Coromandel is that peninsula that we went and stayed up one night and then drove back down.
Yeah.
So basically, we drove up and then they dropped me off, and I did my tramp, and they kept going. And so yeah, it was like, it's not the most breathtaking place in New Zealand, not by a long way, but it was seriously stunning in its own right.
What were you looking at? Were you looking at mountains and?
Yeah, well, basically you walk along a river, and it turns into a couple of rivers.
Yeah.
And then you come up onto the range, and you walk along the range for most of the way. And so, yeah, the first couple of days were pretty cruisy. I think I did like a 12K day and then an 8K day, and I kind of planned it like that because I wasn't sure how I was going to go because it'd been a while. And it turned out like I should have done way more way more Ks.
So how far was the journey from?
Like overall?
Yeah.
It was about 90 Ks.
Right. So is that why you're saying you want to do a bit more like at the
Yeah,
start or something?
yeah,
First couple of days, smash out.
Because it ended up being like the last few days were pretty epic, or like the middle few.
Right. What do you mean by that?
Oh, just like big days. So yeah, the first 2 days were cruisy. And in New Zealand they have huts everywhere, which we don't have in Australia, which is like so nice.
Just where you can sleep.
Where you sleep and cook and all that. I mean, usually you have to take your own stove and stuff, but they've got like mattresses there and.
Wow, so you have a proper sleep.
Yeah, not like a fat mattress, but like just something like foam like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is super nice. Makes it really easy. There was one night of camping, but that was about it.
Were there lots of mozzies in New Zealand?
Not really, actually.
That's great because I fucking hate mozzies.
Yeah, obviously no snakes either.
Really?
They have no snakes.
No
in New Zealand.
snakes.
Yeah.
So what's their predator? What's their?
They don't really have one. They've
Oh,
got
great. They've just got themselves to fight against each other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Their main predator and hazard is probably like drinking problems. Yeah. It's not good. But yeah, so the other predators are like feral cats, and like feral dogs. They're the main ones.
And what was the weather like when you were walking?
Yeah, the weather was really good. I only had like, the forecast looked a bit iffy. And there was a bit of rain on the third day. Yeah. And that was like, I think I did maybe 15 Ks or something on the third day. And I would have done a little bit more than that, but when I was crossing this river and I looked and there was like grey clouds, and so I was like, oh, I was coming up on a campsite, so I was like, I might just pop up my shelter here and see if it passes or not. And like I start putting up my tarp that I was sleeping under, and like I get halfway through and it starts raining. I'm like, oh, I've done well there. Pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
And like it keeps getting heavier, and I'm like, shit, I gotta get this done.
Yeah.
And then like it starts hailing, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, why?
Yeah.
So I get my shelter up and just like sit under there and let it pass. And by the time it passed, I was like, I don't want to pack this up and move, so just stayed there. Which was really cool. Just camped by a river and enjoyed that. So
it sounds so bliss.
Yeah, really. And it was just like no one else around. From that point, well, basically from leaving, I think that morning.
So were you halfway at this point? Day 3?
Not quite.
Not quite.
I still had like 2 big days and then 1 like medium day.
Yeah.
So I was a little bit under halfway, I think. And so from that morning, I think the last person that I saw, it was at like 10 o'clock, maybe 9:30, and I didn't see anyone for the rest of the day. I was camping by myself. First time camping by myself, which was like a little bit scary, but not really.
Yeah.
And then the next day was a big one. I think I did like 22, 23 Ks or something.
And you're just walking down the riverbank, like with the river?
No. So I was for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I crossed it. I mean, you cross it heaps of times, but cross it and then go up onto the like main bit of the range.
And it's just a path, like you know where you're going.
Yeah, they've got like little orange triangles pointing the way. And
is this is this 6-day walk like a like an actual thing? Like it's like, all right, come do this 6-day hike. Like it's a planned out route. Like it's a proper thing which people come and do. And
but not many people do it. I don't think. I met one other group that was doing it, but that was it.
Yeah.
And it's weird because on the website, like the national parks website, pretty much, they give all the different walks like a rating of difficulty, and this one was like, it was given an expert rating, which is the highest one. And I was like, am I an expert? I don't know about this, but I just did it anyway, and it definitely didn't deserve an expert rating. It was not that hard.
This is this like expert maybe because it was long, but what about like the walk and the terrain?
Yeah,
like,
and there was some.
You know where you're going all the time. Was there any point where you just didn't know where you were going?
Nah, the track was very clear, like the whole way. There were a couple of times when I like walked off it for like 10 meters and then realized I wasn't on it and got back on. But yeah, so this day, what would it be? Day 4 was the real like. I mean, it was the big day, lots of Ks and lots of steep hills. But it was like seriously epic. You just get on top of the range and you're like, it's almost like subalpine, but not quite. But lots of exposed hilltop kind of things, and you've got like views out over the plains towards Hamilton, one of the big cities, and Auckland. Yep. And then like on the other side, you've got like the ocean, pretty much.
Yeah. Wow.
Which was seriously epic. Yeah.
How many Ks did you walk that day?
So that was like the 23K day, I think.
So you just walked all fucking day?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
I think I would have started at like 7:30 and I would have finished at maybe 4. Yeah, pretty long day, I guess. Not that long though.
No,
really.
it's pretty long.
Yeah.
Start at
when you're walking the whole time,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but it was so good.
Yeah.
And I didn't see anyone that whole day. I slept in this tiny little like 3-bed hut by myself, with like the wind blowing the door that didn't really close properly. And that was really cool. But like, yeah, pretty cold up there, to be honest. And then, yeah, the next day kind of drop off the range a little bit. And I ran into like the first person that I'd seen in about 50 hours, which was like really weird.
Yep.
Because I mean,
it's awesome.
Yeah, you think about it, like you're constantly seeing people
all the time.
Yeah.
There's never any point where you go 50 hours without seeing
exactly, unless you deliberately do that.
Of course.
That was a really unique experience, and I can't say I had any like really groundbreaking, profound thoughts. Like nothing, it didn't change my life really.
Yeah,
but
you would have had thoughts.
Yeah, definitely
throughout the time.
There's something relaxing and therapeutic about just walking, and just being outside in nature.
Not having to worry, concern yourself.
Yeah.
Just being able to just walk.
Exactly. It's a very simple objective.
Mm-hmm.
And there'll be hazards along the way that you got to negotiate and problem solve, and you've got to know how to look after yourself. But apart from that, it's pretty bloody simple. You just keep going.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but it was cool when I did run into someone. It was this like lady who was just out on a day walk, a little bit in over her head, didn't know how, like, if she'd be able to make it back before dark.
When does it get dark?
At that point, it was probably around 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Okay, yeah.
So like she had plenty of time. But yeah, and we had like a 15-minute chat, which was sick. Like just standing on the trail. Yeah, and like it's being away. I mean, this is kind of an allegory for the whole New Zealand experience. Being away makes everything just more special. So being away from people made seeing people more special, and being away from my family makes me appreciate them more. And friends as well. So yeah, there's a lot of lessons that I learnt from the whole experience, really. And I mean that walk was probably the highlight of the whole trip for me, I would say, apart from like all the schoolwork and stuff. But it was seriously epic.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
So did your friends meet you afterwards, or how did you kind of get back?
The plan was to meet up with them afterwards, but they were going down. I can't remember where they were going. I think they might have been going down like to the west coast of the North Island. Yeah, that was the plan, to go to New Plymouth and a mountain called Taranaki. But that was right. There was a big COVID outbreak in Auckland and the Waikato area, which was like right next to where this walk was and where they were going. And they tried to get through, but they got turned back by police on the border. And so they ended up going into the Waikato, all of them, to one of the schools there. I'm not really sure why they made that decision, but what had happened was that I'd taken the car and left it at the start of the walk, and then Archie had come, picked up the car and put it at the bottom, because I walked obviously straight line all the way down. And so the car was waiting for me at the end of the walk. But yeah, I think they all got stuck in Hamilton for like 2 weeks.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And did that 2 weeks overlap when they were supposed to be back wherever they were supposed to be?
Yeah. So quite a few of them were from that area, so that was fine. But it was Archie and this other girl, Lily. They both got stuck in Hamilton, and they ended up doing a little bit of work at these schools because they were staying there, which was kind of cool. But then I was also by myself for the 2 weeks, so like 1 week of, or like a bit of time for the holidays at the end.
Yep.
And then for like the start of
school term. So where were you then?
Because I was in a COVID-free place. I just drove back down to school. After that, so it was pretty fortuitous for me, I guess. And there was a moment like when I was up on the top of the range. The range basically straddles these two different regions. One being the Waikato, which was all like locked down. Yeah. And then I think Bay of Plenty was the other one. So I was basically like in no man's land, which was kind of cool.
Wait, so you obviously had to get prepared for this big walk and stuff like that. So how much were you carrying with you when you were walking? And what food did you bring with you?
Well, basically, got to keep it simple when you're carrying all your food.
Yep.
Breakfast was just like porridge, because it's always nice to have something hot for breakfast out of there. And then lunches, I just had wraps with falafel. And I did 3 days of falafel and 3 days of salami, and then like cheese, cucumber, carrot, hummus, and avocado. It's like pretty gourmet.
Easy.
Kept me going.
Tastes good.
And then for dinners, I did the same thing every night. I did like rice noodles. Again, I split it up a little bit so it wasn't the same thing the whole time. I did these Korean sweet potato noodles. I don't know if you've had them before. Yeah, but they're really cool. Tasty. And then I did like rice noodles.
And everything's light.
Yeah, super light.
Yeah.
And then I just like made a sauce with soy sauce, sesame oil, and this thing called gochujang, which is like this dried chili paste, and it's like delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It's so good. And then I had like bok choy with that, so I didn't have any like meat or anything.
Yeah.
Because it's hard, you can't really carry it.
Yeah.
But it kept me going, and I was super psyched with that because I took exactly like the right amount of food.
That's good.
Yeah, maybe I was a little bit hungry some nights, but yeah, it was like perfect.
So how much do you reckon you're carrying? 10 kilos or?
No, it was probably.
Oh, because you had your tent stuff as well.
Yeah,
right?
so I took a tarp rather than a tent, which is like a sheet of nylon basically, and then like a sleeping mat. I took a little stove, you know, the tranches that we used to cook on at school camps. Yep. Yeah, I had one of them.
One of those little things. Yep.
Yeah. Then pretty minimal clothing. Like, I think I took 2 shirts and 1 pair of pants.
Yeah. Did you go swim in the river at any point?
I did. I had a little nude swim, which was cool.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. There was lots of places to swim. The one thing that I didn't have that I wish I had were these things called gaiters, which are like things to protect your kind of like ankle and like lower leg. Often we use them in Australia for like snakes, so that snakes can't get through them, but they're also really good for mud. And New Zealand is just like the muddiest place.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
So so what is it? It's just what stops you getting dirty?
Yeah,
or?
Yeah, pretty much. It keeps it out of your boots.
Right. Got you.
Mostly. Yeah. So like, I didn't have those, and my shoes and pants were just absolutely filthy by the end of it. Like ridiculous, because you'd go like, I don't know, 200 meters, and there'd be another patch of mud. Like ridiculous. Nothing like Australia at all. Like it's so wet over there. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So yeah. Apart from that, I didn't take much else. Head torch is crucial.
Of course. And your phone.
Yeah. Took my phone. It survived the whole time. Like I just switched it off.
Yep.
And it's ridiculous because my phone battery is like the worst thing in the world now. Because I drop it all the time, and that doesn't help. And it's 3 years old now, so it's doing all right.
But she survived 6 days.
Yeah, exactly.
Just turning it on and off whenever you needed to use it.
Yeah. So.
Did you bring a book or anything to do while you were?
Nah, I took a book to write in. I'd write a journal. I kept a journal the whole time that I was there in New Zealand, which is going to be super valuable, I think.
You gonna write a book or something, or?
Yeah, maybe. No, definitely not. It was not that remarkable an experience to write a book, I don't think. But personally, it was incredible. So, yeah, it was good stuff.
Is there anything from the trip other than what we've already talked about that stands out?
No, I've talked about snowboarding and tramping and traveling. No, nothing really else. But I would say that.
What about your time with Mr. Barman?
My time with Mr. Barman was classic. He hasn't changed a bit. The speeches are still exactly the same. But he's a great man. Just super welcoming. Yeah. And we were living next door to him, so every now and then we'd go around to their place for dinner and just chat, and it was really nice, and he's doing really well over there, so pretty happy.
Has he lived over there before?
I don't think so. They've only been there this might be their 3rd year this year, or 3rd year. So it's not been too long, but he seems to be loving it, I think.
How could you not?
Yeah, well, it's pretty amazing. I mean, he's a big rock nerd. He loves his rocks.
Oh, really?
Geology.
Oh, I thought you meant like
not
music.
Rock music.
Yeah, I was like, okay, man, to listen to some AC/DC or something.
Yeah, not quite. Don't know what music he listens to be honest. I didn't hear him listen to any. But yeah, no, he loves his rocks, and there's obviously a lot of geology over there. Oh, earthquakes is something cool. I don't know, we don't really get earthquakes here.
No, we can't really.
Yeah, so like I probably felt an earthquake every at least once a month.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah,
That's
like
surprising.
tiny little
Yeah.
ones, but
Yeah.
there were a few like decent ones where like you couldn't quite see everything moving, but it was like not far off, and like you could really feel it shake. Like
Yep.
it was angry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the plan? What do you have to do when you're in a classroom with kids that just
I
get under
don't
the
know.
table? Or
I have no idea, eh? I
Really?
didn't find that out.
you just
Yeah, I
weren't in
figured.
a classroom when that was happening, or is just
No, I don't think I had any when I was in a classroom. It was mainly like in the afternoon, that I had them. When I was just at home. Yeah, I think you get in like a doorway. It's a pretty safe place. Yeah, get under a table. I don't know. Yeah, but so the place Napier, that was the big town nearby, and in the 1920s, it might have been like 23 or 28 or something. It was absolutely flattened by, actually it was 1930s, but it was flattened by an earthquake. Like,
and that could happen at any time.
yeah, more or less. Which is kind of crazy, and it's all been rebuilt.
Yeah.
In a similar, it's a really. Have you heard of Art Deco?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Year 8 Art
yeah,
Deco or whatever.
exactly.
You said whatever the fuck Art Deco.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So it's all in that kind of style, which it was before it got flattened. And then they kind of rebuilt it with that. So
Yeah.
it's quite nice, really, if you haven't been traumatized by it through school.
Yeah. Fucking hell.
Yeah. Classic.
Earthquakes. It's not something you
Yeah. It's
ever
not an
think about.
issue. And same with volcanoes. Like, you go
Right.
to Lake Taupo or Taupo, depending if you're a local or not, I suppose.
Yep.
And yeah, you stand there and you're looking out over this massive lake, and in the distance you've got Mount Ruapehu, Mount Tongariro, and Mount Narahoe, and like it's really beautiful. And then you think about the fact that they're all active volcanoes, and the lake that you're looking at is the caldera of a supervolcano, and it's like due for an eruption soon. It's like, do I really want to be here? Not really. Yeah, it's kind of scary.
When you say soon, it's like 1,000 years or 500 years or.
I'm not sure when exactly, but I think the last eruption was like 120 something thousand years ago, or maybe it was something like that.
So we're due. It's like 20. It's like every 100,000 years or something.
Something like
every
that.
80,000 years.
Yeah. So we're due for one.
Yeah. But it could be in another 30, 40,000 years, or it could be fucking tomorrow.
Yeah. But the thing is, they'll be able to detect it before it happens. Like there'll be a big build up of magma and stuff.
Right.
It's still.
I don't know what you're gonna do. You have to evacuate.
Yeah. You have to get out of there.
Out of there.
Pretty quick, smart. Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, it's not so good.
Super volcano. So will that not kill all of us, or?
It would certainly have a loud bang. Yeah. I don't know if it would kill all of us. Depends on like what way the wind's blowing, really, on the day. It would. I don't know how. Like that one recently, in Tonga. I think the volcanic plume was like 20 kilometers in the air, and that's not a super volcano. That's just a regular one.
Yeah.
So this one would be like serious.
Oh yeah.
There'd be some like serious darkness.
Yep.
Over the whole world, like the ash would travel all the way around the world, pretty much. I don't know what the effects would be for New Zealand. I don't know how
dead
everyone would be, but probably people who are pretty close, pretty dead. If anyone was on the lake, pretty dead. I don't know if it would reach like Auckland or not, but potentially, because like all throughout the landscape, a lot of like the east coast is limestone, but then in the volcano you've got like different igneous rocks, which are like the volcanic ones, and they've been like scattered amongst all the limestone, which is like it's like 100 k's away from like previous explosions. So these rocks have flown out like almost 100 kilometers from
crazy.
From
just a normal volcano.
Yeah. Oh, I think that was from the super volcano.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's kind of a little bit terrifying.
So it's the last, say, 10 or 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, any big takeaways?
Well, I think the big takeaway is probably, like, for me, has been the idea of like gap years.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm really happy that I didn't go to uni straight away. And in some ways, I don't consider what I've done and what I'm doing as gap years, because I think the connotation with gap years is that you do a gap year if you don't know what you want to do.
Yep.
Basically, you just bum around, drink, and work.
Yep.
Like, you might work at Woolies or Coles or something. But yeah, for me, like, yeah, I went and did some stuff that I wanted to do. I'd climbed while we couldn't do anything else. And then, like, I made the most of what was actually going on doing TAFE, because it was actually running. So I was like, I want to do this, and I might as well do it now. It was kind of a spur of the moment decision, but I went and did it, and it was one of the best experiences of my life so far. And then I had this plan that kept getting put off, and then eventually it happened that I could go. And so I seized the moment. You just got to go and do it. And prior to that, I'd been working as well in like the field that I want to work in outdoor education. And then this year I've got that job in outdoor ed again. So I'm still not at uni, but like, I wouldn't really consider them to be gap years, because it's not like I'm filling in time. I'm working towards where I want to be. And I would say that even if you don't know what you want to do, like, I'm super lucky that I think I know what I want to do. But even if you don't know what you want to do, if you take a gap year, try and make something of it. Don't just you can just work and earn money, and that's perfectly legitimate, because right now I need to buy a car and I have no money. But if you get an opportunity or you think you can make something happen, then do that. Like, the whole idea for me is to get a bit more life experience and skills before I go to uni and before I commit down a path, so yeah, I think the more that you can do with your life, the richer it'll be, I think. Yeah, that's my take, I think.
So, kind of last question, big question.
Yeah.
I asked Dylan this. I asked Sean Skinner this.
Right. Oh, you had Sean. That's good.
Sean's
a good
we
one.
had a lot. We banter. It was a lot of shit talking.
That's good.
Yeah. So if I was to give you the keys to the education system and say, look, Jackson, you can change and do anything that you want to do, whether that's make kids go to school for 2 hours a day, whether that's make them go to school on weekends, anything. You can do anything. What would you do, but to make it better?
Right. Yeah, well, I can't say I've devoted too much time to thinking about this, but, and I definitely don't have the answers. You'd be better off asking my mum, because she's been in education for 30 years and probably has some very strong opinions. But I would say that the ATAR system needs to be scrapped.
Scrapped?
Scrapped. Start fresh. I don't think it's valid at all. Like, my cousin's just got her results from the HSC, and she did really well in her subjects, but they weren't reflected in like her ATAR score.
Which is the biggest bullshit.
Yeah, because she was doing like humanities and stuff. Yeah. And like, what does the ATAR then consider that humanities are less valuable than like sciences and stuff?
And they fucking
exactly.
do.
They do 100%. So that needs to be scrapped. I don't know. I think more of obviously, because I'm an outdoor person, I think there needs to be a big emphasis on the outdoors.
I just think that it's, regardless if you are or aren't an outdoor person, and I know that obviously you just said you are, but I think that there definitely should be more of an emphasis on outdoor education.
Yeah.
More so, I think it's a lot more beneficial for kids, for growing teenagers, for whoever, to go outdoors, get out of their comfort zone, get into an environment where they have to think for themselves. They have to help themselves. They have to make their own breakfast. They have to set up their own tent. They have to challenge themselves by doing an 8-meter abseil. So
Yeah, and it's not going to be for everyone.
Mhm.
I can appreciate that, but there's kind of two parts to it. So I think outdoor education is important, educating people about being outside and being independent and resourceful and resilient and all that, and having amazing experiences doing awesome activities. And then I think you can take education into the outdoors. You can be using the outdoors to teach people important lessons about life and about subjects at school,
Mhm.
potentially. I don't know what the long-term solution is. I think there needs to be more dedicated outdoor programs within schools. Like, I'm really enjoying working for this company, Southbound, but that's schools outsourcing to us for their camps, and I think it would be valuable for schools to have their own internal programs,
Yep.
which means Southbound goes out of business. But sorry,
Yeah.
I
Or
think
maybe they
that's-
could use external. Maybe
Well,
they
exactly.
have to use external. Or maybe
Yeah.
schools just choose to use external because they don't want to hire people themselves. And
Yeah, and it is a big undertaking to
Yeah.
set up a program like that,
Mhm.
and I mean, we live in this very bubble wrapped and PC world, and people don't like to take risks, but I mean, you can't get through life without taking risks. So even though the outdoors is inherently dangerous and you can't control it, it's a beautiful place, and it's a place where you can learn about yourself, about the environment that's around us, and about connecting with people. So I think that needs to be a big factor in education going forward, and I hope it is. I
Yeah.
can see that it is already kind of gearing towards that. There's a few big Sydney schools that are starting up their own programs, and there's already a lot down in Victoria, so it is kind of swinging towards that way, which is good. And I
Yep.
think after this pandemic, with everyone having been locked inside for months and months on end, people will be craving to be outdoors. So yeah, I can see it really being a big point of education in the future, and just in life in general.
Yeah.
I hope it is.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree with you more.
Yeah.
I've said it, Dylan said it. I think more people our age, more people who have just understood the fucking the hardships that you have to go through through the pandemic, like all the being inside and what you're saying, like getting out more. And I think it's just more valuable to spend more time, especially as a kid, getting out, having school camps. Like my point, what I said to Dylan was, starting young, you shouldn't just have one yearly camp. It should be one a term, and then 3 are maybe compulsory and one isn't. And then as you get older, you only do 3 a year, or maybe you even do more. Maybe because as you get older, there's more and more stress.
I think there's as you get older, there's more that you can take from those kind of experiences. I think, and there's more benefits, like because people are so stressed about their exams. It's such a literally a breath of fresh air, and it's almost like detoxifying your life a little bit by being outside. Everything just washes away, and it's like when you're walking, you don't have to worry about anything else. And for me, when I'm rock climbing, like I can't worry about anything else because I don't want to fucking die. You just gotta keep making the next move and keep moving. But also there are like amazing times to just sit and reflect, and that's another thing that people need, is that we're also hyperactive and constantly stimulated all the time. I mean, it's with phones and everything. We're constantly looking for that next hit of dopamine. And we actually are incapable of just sitting and being by ourselves in our own thoughts. We need that distraction. Because we've lost the ability to think for ourselves. And that's partly education's fault. It's partly
social media.
So there's something really powerful about I wouldn't even necessarily call it meditation, but just being out and present in the bush in the moment. Just So
last closing remarks.
Yeah.
I'd say. Any words of advice? Any wisdom to spout on specifically kids, teenagers who are in year 11 and 12 and who are going through a lot of these fucking hardships of having to study relentlessly, and which adds on top of having to go to school from 8:30 to 3 and then having to study and then having to do sport and then having to work and then having to deal with all this life shit, which personally, obviously, I don't think a 16, 17-year-old person should be having me deal with
that's right.
at that age. Yeah. But if there's anything for you personally, especially from your experience of being in a different country for 9 months and going on an adventure by yourself for 6 days, you know, what would you say to those people?
Well, it's funny because when I was that age, when I was at school, I really wasn't into the outdoors like I am now. I like to convince everyone that I am a mountain man and always have been or something, but I wasn't. I was just kind of a regular kind of person, just
doing science and maths and English, and that was your focus.
Yeah, kind of, and I wasn't really thinking about it, but I don't know there's no solution for everyone, but I think just spending a little bit of time outdoors, even if it's important to be out of your comfort zone sometimes, and I know for a lot of people being outside is out of your comfort zone, but if you take that leap and just try something new, you won't regret it. I don't think. Even if you don't enjoy it, you won't regret it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seek discomfort.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's it.
Yeah. That's the stuff.
Thanks, Jack.
Oh, thank you,
that was great.
Mr. Bumlow. That's been a pleasure. Yeah.
That's it.
Awesome.
Cheers. Thanks, bro.
Mate, that was awesome.
Go outside, you filthy animals.